Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy, Golden Falls, Golden What If, whatever you want to call me. As you can hear, my voice is kind of messed up, just a little bit. If I talk kind of slow or like in a weird way, the reason for that is because I'm kind of dealing with a toothache. I have to go to the orthodontist pretty soon here. Oh my God, I can't even talk. So I'm kind of dealing with a bit of a toothache, so I'll be going to the orthodontist, or at least setting something up for myself pretty soon here, in the next couple days. But you know, stuff like that takes a while, so I'm kind of just in the midst of dealing with it. So if you hear me talk slow from time to time, it's because I'm trying not to, like, you know, hurt my tooth by talking super quick how I normally would talk. But yeah, I mean, nonetheless, welcome back. This is an Isagi What If. What if Isagi was Chigiri's brother? And as always, if you guys enjoy it, make sure to show some love. Leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. Sorry for rambling so much. I don't normally like rambling for a minute, but yeah, here we are. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got to say. Let's get right into the what if. Let's get it. Isagi Yoichi is not Isagi Yoichi anymore. This time around, he was born with a brother by the name of Chigiri, or Hyomo Chigiri, and them two would end up being some of the best football players anybody has ever seen in club football or even in high school football. Everybody would be completely taken back by the speed of the duo, but Chigiri, Chigiri, I will, just to make it clear, I'll be calling Chigiri, and you know, I'll probably still call Isagi, just for simple stance of it. But yeah, so Chigiri is more known as that speedster, someone that is extremely hard to stop, someone extremely talented, seemingly genetically gifted, far better than anyone else. Isagi does have those genetic gifts as well in terms of speed, but he's just not as fast as Chigiri, just not entirely. He's definitely had to work harder than Chigiri ever has, but there's one thing he has over his brother, and that's his mind. His way he sees the game and the way he can really make out what's going on. During this time, Isagi and Chigiri would see great growth between the both of them, and Chigiri would be exceeding expectations and would be kind of famous in Japan, at least getting to the point of being famous in Japan. They would team up in high school with not only the brothers, but also another brother duo by the name of the Wanama twins. And the Wanama twins, they would be extremely dynamic, especially on the team of Isagi and Chigiri. But early on in his high school career, or Chigiri's high school career, he would actually get injured, tearing his ACL and having to go through a giant rehab process that he felt he would never get through. And frankly, there's times that he really felt that he was never going to get through it. But luckily enough, his brother was right next to him, right beside him, still training, still working, and still on his brother about coming back, about being the best, and about joining him once again and continuing their duo of being the greatest strikers in Japan. Isagi would tell him that it doesn't matter that he got hurt, that he'll get through it, he'll power through it, and he'll overcome this hurdle just like they've overcome every hurdle in their life. Chigiri would hear this and he would be inspired, even with the Wanama twins bringing him down and dealing with his injury throughout this time. He would find some solace in his brother. The Wanama twins may make fun of him, may say that he'll never be a football player again, he'll never be good ever again, but luckily enough, his brother's there. His brother is there to back him up. Isagi is there to back him up. So once all of this is said and done, and once the true beginning of their journey begins, Chigiri is relying heavily on his brother. And on top of that, he trusts that he can make not only a full recovery, but he can get back into his own mojo and become the greatest striker alive. And that chance and that idea would be tested very quickly especially when they get a letter that would change their world and everything forever. Both Isagi and Chigiri would head off to basically go to this training camp. But when they arrive, whatever this training camp so-called is, it's not what they necessarily expected. When they walk in, they see a ton of people. And when I mean a ton of people, I mean a ton of people. Because a lot of those people are all strikers. Most, if not all of them, are main strikers and are known to be strikers. So they're kind of confused. Like, who are these people? Why are they here? What's going on? Like, what's even happening? And those questions would eventually be answered, especially when they wait and they look toward the one and only Jinpachi Ego. Jinpachi Ego says it all and sums it all up very quickly. And he begins to explain that there is one thing and the one reason why they're all here: to become the greatest striker. And there's various ways to become that, but this is the way that Japan will create the greatest striker to ever live, the greatest striker that they need to win the World Cup. For starters, he begins to list off names of amazing players, people like Ronaldo, Messi, and continues on, but then uses an example of someone with an ego, saying that a true striker, someone that is truly the best striker in the world, well, they need to have an ego, that they need to want to score. They need to hunt the glory like a lion. They need to want the glory so badly that they would want it more than even winning itself. That once they can find someone like that, once they can find someone that egotistical, someone that can be an egoist in that degree, then that will be the true striker that will take over everything. Chigiri, hearing this, especially on the side of Isagi, Chigiri would look toward his brother, and his brother's face seems to light up, as if he's greeting and wanting, well, the competition that seemingly lies ahead of them. He's never seen his brother like this. He's never seen him in such a way. His brother seems to be cranked up. Isagi seems to be completely and utterly ready for whatever's to come. And frankly, it's obvious that Isagi wants to be that striker. Yes, he wants to be the best striker alongside his brother. But it seems like this whole thing has flipped on its head. This whole thing has changed for Isagi. And the reason it has is now he has a goal. And his motivations seem to spike endlessly. And there is no reason why Isagi can't reach that goal. He would look toward his brother and tell him that, injury or not, that he needs to step through that door with him. But if he steps through that door, he needs to step through with confidence, with a willingness to lose it all. Because without football, what are they anyways? They are brothers. They'll always have that. But their goal has always been to be the greatest. So now this is their chance to prove that they can be and will be the greatest. He walks toward that door, and Chigiri is close to follow, and they walk in, shooting a glare toward Jinpachi Ego, and even Ego can see that those kids mean complete and utter business. They walk through, and they get dressed, ready, and they walk into a building labeled for Team Z. They walk in that building and stand there waiting for everybody to enter, and eventually they wait long enough and everybody is there. Isagi awaits for the screen, that screen that's hanging above them, to turn on, and eventually it would, and it would halt all the speaking and talking that everyone's doing at this moment. Everybody would listen, and Jinpachi Ego would explain their first challenge. And this first challenge will immediately throw out somebody faster than your head could spin. 2 minutes, 30 seconds. That's all you got. Very little time. Very little time. And, of course, this would obviously put them all off guard. They're kind of confused. A ball would drop from the sky, And Jinpachi Ego, well, he would say that this is now a game of tag, but a little different. Take the football, hit somebody with it. That means they're it. It will continue until the time runs out, and whoever has the ball last, whoever's been hit last, well, they're it. And they'll be walking home without a chance in hell at becoming Blue Lock's best striker, and not a chance in hell at becoming the greatest striker for Japan's national team. The screen would turn off, the ball would drop, and everybody would begin scrambling. One of the people there by the name of Kira would have the ball, and he would kick it toward a boy by the name of Iragashi. Iragashi would get hit by it, but then immediately would look for a shot himself, trying to hit Kira, trying to hit Isagi, trying to hit Chigiri. No, can't hit it. Whiff, whiff, whiff. He turns around, he sees a boy on the ground sleeping. That boy is named Bachira. One kick to try and get Bachira out, though, would lead to him a foot to the face, smashing it into the boy's face, and Bachira would stand up, but many would kind of tell him that that is not the way to play. But Bachira says there are no rules. The rules were already set, and he can do whatever else he wants, at least theoretically. And just as he says this, though, Bachira would grab the ball himself, and he would look for someone to play with, eventually coming across one Isagi, kicking the ball toward Isagi. Isagi, though, instead of, well, dodging, he looks at the ball, gathers it, and kicks it right back. Bachira smirks as he can see that Isagi is willing to do this dance, willing to play this game. And Chigiri, his brother, would tell him, stop doing this, just dodge it, and he'll be out. But Isagi watches as the time slowly but surely runs out. But as he kicks the ball one last time to Bachira, Bachira would look, smirk, and say it was fun as he kicks the ball super hard and curving it toward one Kira, hitting him in the face and saying that they all knew that they wanted to knock out the best. Kira's somehow the best. So he just did them all a favor. Bachira would laugh a bit, but Kira would not be laughing, standing up quickly, but realizing the time was already over. Kira would have nothing else he could do. He steps away as he walks out, knowing his journey in Blue Lock is not only over, but on top of that, his chances of becoming the greatest striker alive and joining Japan's national team is over as well. There's no way for him to do a single thing about it, and his fate was determined literally by one swing of a leg. With that said, though, they are now narrowed down to 11 players, and Jinpachi Ego would show up on the screen one more time, explaining what's to happen next. He explains that all of them will team up. Some will betray each other, some will work together, and some will be in sync and will be perfect as tandems. But other times, let's just say, they may crash and burn. This is a team of strikers, but think about how they did it way back in the day. There were no positions. Not until, well, everybody else decided to make up some meaningless positions, and now there are some. He tells them all that he wishes them good luck, or at least for their sake, he does. Because at the end of the day, they need to figure out what they're truly made of. The screen would turn off, and Isagi would show a grin on his face. He would tell them all that he's excited, that he wants to see what everyone's capable of, what they're all able to do, and he's going to show everyone why he's so much better. Chigiri could see the determination gleaming off of his brother, something that he didn't even expect, something that he didn't know was really deep within him. But this would give him motivation to stand beside his brother, motivation to run next to him. The training would begin. They would be in training, working, and honestly trying to figure out how they'll work as a team. But there is no gluing as a team when they're all strangers. They don't know each other, they don't know tendencies, and they don't know what's going to happen next. But at the same time, Isagi tells Chigiri, at least under his breath without anybody noticing, that if all else fails, they play brother ball. They play as a tandem, and they go from there. He tells him this because he has a feeling that everything's going to go crumbling down pretty quickly, especially once everybody sees that ball on that field, because everybody knows that it's every man for himself, unless you're one of the top 2 teams out of the teams that they play. The game would finally approach and would finally be there to begin. The game against Team X would begin. Team X would have one by the name of Baro, and Baro would be a freak of nature. But just like expected from Isagi, Isagi watches as everything crumbles. Everybody freaks out, tries to steal the ball from each other, and eventually the ball would pop up. Popping up and giving a chance for one of them to recover it. Baro looks to capitalize on this, but as he tries, well, one Isagi would come jumping in, tapping it with his toe, putting it out of reach of Baro. Baro would be shocked. He hasn't seen someone that fast ever. Isagi would go running down the field, showing off his insane speed, and everybody thinks that this guy is an absolute trailblazer, that there's no way that anybody can keep up with him in speed. But just as they think this, a determined and motivated Chigiri is sprinting down the other sideline. Defense may not be that big of an issue, at least on the other team, because they're kind of uncoordinated, but Isagi can't get through all 3 people that are standing in front of him. But one pass, one beautiful curving pass straight to his brother, leads to the easiest goal of their lives. They think to everyone there thinks to themselves that they have a real issue on their hands. Well, Team Z doesn't, but Team X, they really do. Because Isagi and Chigiri, the brotherly duo, seems to be an unstoppable force. 2 absolute trailblazers. Well, this is something that no coach, no team would ever want to deal with. And soon, everybody would begin to fall in place. It's as if a shift in power, but more like a shift in skill, would intrigue everybody to follow in line. Isagi down the sideline, Chigiri down the sideline. Bachira with a beautiful pass to one of them. It's as if it's an orchestra. It's as if it's a beautiful song being played, and there is no interrupting it. There is no cutting the cord, and there is no turning down the noise. Score, goal after goal, every single time. Team X doesn't have the coordination to stop it. Bado, he may be strong, he may be fast, but the speed that those 2 are playing at, and the coordination that is messing up not only him but everyone else there, is limiting his range and limiting the way for him to get inside his way of scoring. Unable to get closer, he's unable to find his own goal. But eventually, he would scrounge one. The Lion would scrounge eventually 1 goal, scrounging for the carcass maybe of a body that's decaying, because just like the game is already at its peak and the game is already basically over. So he may score a goal, but the game was just a ticking time bomb waiting to pop, because the score would end up being 4-1, and Team Z would dominate all the way down the field. They would all celebrate, and it was obvious that they would be in kind of the same realm of, hey, let's work together and let's feed off of these 2 that we have now, these 2 trailblazers. Bachira would even buy into this idea as well. I mean, why wouldn't he? They would begin speaking. Some would buy in, some won't. After this game, or after that game that they just played, they have more people buying in than not buying in. Because at the end of the day, they want to win. And if they feel that they could win enough games, they could win all their games with the tandem of Chigiri and Isagi at the forefront, then why not take that chance? Why not let loose and try to use them as a focal point of their offense? Maybe that's just the way to go. They begin to speak that night about what kind of things they can do. What are their skills? What are they capable of? And Isagi says that both him and Chigiri are trailblazers, extremely fast. But Isagi says that he's slower than his brother. And even after the injury, in which everyone is questioning what injury Chigiri went through, but that's beyond the point. But even after the injury, Isagi says that he's still faster than him. And once he breaks off of that mold, once he makes sure that he's over that hurdle of being injured, there will be no stopping his speed. And he's just going to complement his brother even more. They ask Isagi if he's just a worse version of his brother. But Chigiri himself would say that that's just not the case. That his brother, he may not be as fast, but he's far more skilled. The way his mind works for the game and the way he sees the field, it's as if he can sense a goal, as if he can smell one, closer and closer as they get there. Ever since they were little, every pass would be perfect when they're around the goal. It's as if he can sense him across the field, as if he can pinpoint where the goal needs to be or where the ball needs to be for every goal to be perfect. In hearing this, everyone is pretty shocked to hear this, but at the same time, Bachira brings up that his skill is dribbling, or his weapon is dribbling. Kunigami is a mid-range absolute assassin, someone that can shoot the ball from mid-range and pretty deep ranges in general. Gagamaru says that his is athleticism, and it seems like they have a bunch of things covered. We're talking about a combination of two absolute trailblazers, someone that can see the field really well. Bachira, whose dribbling is amazing, but his passing is just as good, or maybe a little bit worse. But with Kunigami as well, they won't even see him coming. He'll be in the shadows while the two trailblazers set the field on fire. Kunigami will be hiding behind the smoke and would be able to score goal after goal. At least that's their thought, and that's what they train to do. The next game would be against Team Y. Team Y would be an interesting case. Quickly, they would see that they're kind of trying to set something up, trying to set up a play between Okawa and Nico. But the issue with trying to set up a play between Okawa and Nico is they're relying on one thing and one thing only. Well, I guess two things. An opening, but also speed. They're relying on an opening and speed because they know Nico can make the pass. But the speed of Okawa, let's just say, that's not good enough. Not even close. Because Chigiri can run him down like an absolute maniac, and he'll set this field on fire when they try to pull some BS like that. Stealing the ball off of the first pass from Nico, Isagi is ready to set up their play as he would get the ball from his brother, speeding down the field, looking toward the edge. As Chigiri himself draws so many defenders, he kicks it toward the middle of the field, and as he does, Bachira is there waiting, ready to set up a pass for a waiting Kunigami, hiding behind the smoke as he's ready to come out, kick the ball, and score the goal. Putting them up 1-0, well, let's just say Nico's team is not in good order. Is not in a spot that they truly want to be in. They see that they're at a massive disadvantage, and quickly they would realize that their massive disadvantage may crumble even further. Because when they try to push further down the field, the speed of Chigiri and Isagi, and the way Isagi sees the field and can react to Nico's movements, at least to a certain degree, is absolute pandemonium. It seems that Nico is just unable to do anything and unable to get up the field himself to look for a goal as well. Okawa being matched in speed, if not overtaken, it seems like they're just playing for a low score loss, or on the off chance they can score one more goal, maybe they can play for a tie. But quickly they would realize that's not going to happen, because Isagi would be on Nico like glue, stealing the ball from him and looking for a goal himself as he scores, smelling the goal not from not far away, and they continue to have this success over and over and over again. Chigiri, Isagi, Bachira, Kunigami, they continue to feed each other, and they would run up the score, and quickly it would be obvious there was no chance that Team Y was winning this match. There was no chance that they were going to win right here and right now. Isagi and Chigiri would celebrate with their team with another match down 2-0. If they get a third, it's over. They've qualified for the next selection, and the last game will just be formality. Their third game to guarantee them a spot in the next selection, well, let's just say it'll be storybook. Absolute perfection. But the reason why it's storybook and absolute perfection is because it's against the Wanama twins. The Wanama twins versus the Chigiri brothers. Brothers versus brothers. But there's a difference. A big difference between the Chigiri brothers and the Wanama brothers. The difference is that they're not playing on their own. The Chigiri brothers, Isagi and Chigiri, are not playing like a tandem, at least isolated, like the Wanama twins, and how they know they will play. Because Isagi and Chigiri may have an ego, but their egos don't cloud them from the end goal that they are fighting for, the end goal that they are hunting. Just like a lion that hunts down its prey, they know when there are weaknesses to themselves and advantages to hunting in a pack. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Team Y or Team Z versus Team W. That is going to be a battle between two sets of brothers. But how can the Wanama twins keep up with the additions of Bachira, Kunigami, Gagamaru, and many others? Have they been synced up with their team as much as the Chigiri brothers have been? Well, you'll have to find out on the second part, or part 2, of What If Isagi was Chigiri's brother. If you enjoyed, show some love. Leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. And I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.